There's 2 people missing.
Right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville Citizens Night and Council Work Session. Today is Thursday, January 5th, 2017, about 8 minutes after 7. If we'd all kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tim, you want to grab that sheet to see who signed in?
Nobody has signed in, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Are you wearing a tux? Are you wearing a tuxedo to this?
No. Oh. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll open up Citizens Night. I know that nobody signed in, but if any of you residents would like to address council, it is certainly your time to come on up. Please sign in, state your name for the record, and that you live in Monroeville. You do not have to give your address.
Okay. My name is Jeanette Beagle, and I do live in Monroeville.
Did you say Jeanette?
Jeanette, Janettee, Beagle, Beaghel.
Thank you.
Oh, hope you all had a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
Good time off. I'm here before you as a concerned parent of University Park Elementary.
Okay.
It is our understanding that it's either the municipality or the police department. Somebody is responsible for a crossing guard placement. The crossing guard that has been at the driveway of our school has retired December 31st. We no longer have a crossing guard there. I don't know if you've driven on the road that goes past University Park. The children that walk to and from school, I don't have an exact number, but we'll ballpark it at 10, lowball it. That's 360 times each child has a year of being hit by a car.
Say that again?
300. You have one child walking to and from school twice a day, 180 days a year, is 360 times a year.
Oh, no, I thought you meant somebody was hit.
No, you haven't gotten that phone call yet, which I hope you never do.
Me too.
Because I don't want to be on the receiving end of the district-generated call that we're having counselors at school because a child's been hit. Our crossing guard is not being replaced. This is concern. If you drive on the road, there are 2 signs that I could find, and this week driving up and down the road that states there's a school zone. There's no signage stating 15 miles an hour. There's no blinking lights stating 15 miles an hour. The easement that the children have to walk on, the white line to where the grass starts, is maybe 18 inches in the largest spot because I was out there with my tape measure.
Okay.
There's no sidewalks for them to walk on, meaning now you have 5-year-olds up to 10-year-olds walking, not easily visible. Cars will have to try to swerve around them. We're hitting winter time with roads being plowed, meaning where their safety zone to walk in is now going away.
Well, I can tell you, Jeanette, this is the first I'm hearing this, so I don't have any particular issue. I don't know if anybody on council does, but
Well, I'm sure if there's a signage issue, we can address that right away, and I believe the chief's in charge of the
well, I think it's both
school
chief and the
crossing
school
guards.
district.
No, I mean the school crossing guards.
Chief, you want to come on up and address that, please?
Are you talking about on Noel Drive or College Park?
No. Yeah.
That's what I thought you were saying, yeah.
I wasn't sure which intersection you were.
Yeah, we've had a rash of people retiring. As the years have gone by, we've attritioned down. We had a total of 7 school crossing guards, 2 of which were at Ramsey, 2 of which were in the area of University Park 1, right at the entrance, University Park 1 at Knoll Drive and College Park. And then we had the 2 at Ramsey, right on Ramsey Road at the entrance.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Do we have any applicants?
Well, we haven't. That's been part of the issue, too. And the other part of the issue has been that as they've been attritioning down, we've had less and less children. At one time, we used to have 15 or 20 kids walking at certain schools. We had a bus stop over in Mellon Plain that we were covering. And the only real intersection where we have a bus stop that gets covered with a lot of traffic is Garden City at Old 22. and we still have a guard there.
So it sounds like they have a
mean,
lot of kids too, right?
She said there's 10.
I'm saying that?
I'm guessing around 10, judging from when I pick my children up from, my children ride a bus. But I don't want to have to explain to my children why 2 of their classmates in their classroom, or 1 of them, because I know they have 2 walkers in their room alone, why somebody got hit by a car and what happened to a child,
other
because
history-
it happens.
So we are
She goes quick.
we're looking to replace.
Well, that's been one of the issues we've been looking at. We are budgeted for to be able to replace them for this year
But you don't have any
at
applicants
this
right
point.
now.
So we do not. So we
We
can
don't have the ones at Ramsey any longer either, right?
Ramsey, and what's occurred there is the same thing that happened at almost all the other elementary schools or any of the middle schools, is they all get bused.
Yeah.
Nobody walks anymore. I mean, the exception is the school, obviously, at University Park. But Ramsey, we had a rash of walkers back in the late 2000s, 2006, 2007, and that's why we added, middle 2000s, 2005, that's why we added an extra guard. We always had a guard at Monticello and Ramsey, but then right now, we don't have the walkers there. We just don't have the kids. So that's been the issue. Even when we talk to the school crossing guards, the hours of the guards have changed dramatically over the years, too, which has also been another issue.
Well, Doug, until we replace them, is it possible just to put a cop over there for?
Well, we were
a little
discussing
bit
that
of
with
time
the
in the morning?
school district as well as the Monroeville Police Department. We could do that.
Do we advertise, Doug?
We have
those
not advertised.
positions?
It's been more of a word of mouth.
Word of
Well,
Yeah,
can you put that on the website that we're looking for school crossing guards?
I think
I mean,
that's what we should do.
I'm sorry,
so
I didn't
people
know
are
about
aware
it,
there
but-
might be a
Well, a lot of
retiree or
us,
somebody.
I can say I didn't even know our crossing guard was retiring till a fellow parent had posted something on
Well, then you
Facebook
did
that we
right
don't
coming
even have
up
a
then.
crossing guard. So
You wanted to come up and say something, young lady? Just, you can go right here in the middle, but again, sign in and then state your name for the record and that you live in Monroeville. You do not have to give your address.
My name is Jennifer Davis, and I do live in Monroeville. I live on Noel Drive, and I have 2 walkers. My big issue is with the cars on our street. They are speeding. They are not going 15 at all. I had called the non-emergency line to complain when my son was in kindergarten. He's now in 2nd grade. And I had offered to have police officers sit in my driveway and watch people, and they said it wasn't necessary. Cars fly. I have been, since the crossing guard has retired, I walk my children to school and walk them home from school. The cars, when I walk, if I go like this, a car will hit my arm. It's just not a safe environment. I feel that they need to be monitored. They need to go slower. They need to be more aware that these are little kids who are not aware of their
no, I get
environment.
that.
Well, a crossing guard's not going to help that problem.
No, but they are going to help crossing that street because
Correct, but not
cars-
the car speeding
No,
or paying
but
attention.
That's the second part, is the speeding. But the crossing guard is going to help with them coming in and out of the driveway because parents are flying in the driveway. Buses have to stop because parents are flying in and out. And, the kids try to run across when they think it's safe, but there's no crossing guard to
If I can
Is no drive posted at 15 or 25?
it isn't posted.
25.
Is it?
Okay,
it's
that means,
confined to
that means
sign.
that we can't do nothing until they go over 35.
Yeah, but if
We
it's
get
by
a
a school
school
zone,
zone
is that by a
designation.
designated
I mean-
school zone?
Paul?
There's-
Unless that happens.
There's
I mean,
a
that's-
little school zone sign, and there's a big weeping tree in front of it. So anytime that the leaves are on the tree, the sign is 100% blocked.
Paul, can you maybe
Yugas?
address this? This seems to be your expertise.
We're going to send that to our,
We just recently went
Official.
through this exercise with North American Motors to establish a school zone to reduce the speed limit from 25 to 15, excuse me. It has to be done through PennDOT. They have the ultimate jurisdiction. It's an application. We have to do a traffic and engineering study submitted to PennDOT, and then they may or may not approve it.
Paul, do you
but
think
they
we might have
probably
one
will.
there already, though?
I don't think we do.
You know?
Even on
can't we
College
get,
Park Drive.
that tree cut, at least the tree
Even
trimmed
Even on
back?
College Park Drive, being that that's our municipal road?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Now, he's actually you're talking about
No.
College Park, but she's
Noel
also
Drive.
talking about Noel Drive, which definitely is a
There's
municipal
Where
road.
the
a
driveway-
little,
yeah,
there's like a
like
Saying
little
on a municipal
sign that
road,
says
can't we
school
do that
zone.
without PennDOT?
No.
So,
We need to get someone over there to trim the tree, Paul.
Without PennDOT's approval in a school zone, regardless of ownership.
So looking at this piece by
We need
piece
to
real
have
quick,
someone go over and trim the
Chief,
tree.
would it be possible,
Zone sign.
until the tree gets trimmed, could you use your big speed limit sign that seemed to be effective on a couple of the other roads? We could set that up, we can get the tree trimmed.
We have to get
And
someone
in
over
the
to trim the tree.
And we'll
Yes.
have
have
that
the police
tomorrow.
officer or the school officer there.
Sounds
And
like
then, in the meantime, we can see if we have a traffic study done. If we don't have the traffic
And
study
let's do
done
the
yet,
application.
can we get the application filled? That way, at least we're
You know, I
Trying
mean,
to
it
take a
is problem,
proactive
and
look,
obviously,
you know.
a school zone is very important to have around schools and around entrances to schools. There's no
Right.
doubt, Ramsey Road's one of them also. But the issue certainly is, again, and is Councilman Harvey certainly will be able to tell you, speed enforcement is very problematic for local law enforcement. I always ask, when people ask me about speeding, I say, is there a stop sign close? Because usually it means they're not stopping for a stop sign.
They don't.
And they don't, obviously. College Park, we sit there routinely, and in College Park and Knoll, we'll put some more enforcement into that. But to try to do speed enforcement is just, with a 15, giving miles over, I mean, you can argue in a school zone, you don't have to give the miles over. It just doesn't work because we don't have access to radar.
Can they
And that's
do
one of the
speed bumps?
issues. Well, that's a whole engineering and traffic study, and that's a whole other game, too. I mean, the idea behind it really is that we can't do that type of enforcement on that small of a road. It just won't work for us.
Can I intervene real quick? I've noticed in my career here that anytime we put up the flashing light school zone, people
Slow down.
slow down.
They pay attention.
Any of that kind of
So if
positive
we could
enforcement.
install a couple school zone
That's
flashing
absolutely
lights,
great.
do we have to go through PennDOT to do
No,
that?
I need to reduce the speed limit.
Because I know we have it on
it Evergreen?
Haymaker, on Haymaker, we have it on Old,
It's on Evergreen, Steve.
on Evergreen
Right.
up there.
And we could-
Those actually have flashing lights with them.
Yeah.
Those are reduced
Right.
areas.
And we could do that, put those lights up
You could
without
put
the
a
traffic.
signage with a light, but to reduce the speed limit.
But you all still okay with doing the application?
Well, let's do-
But
let's-
believe me, when
let's
you
do the
see
sign
those
with the
lights
light.
flashing in
slow
a
down.
Let's do
school
what
zone, you
Stevie's
slow
talking
down.
about.
Great point. Put the lights up.
I have another recommendation. We have a portable speed sign that
That's
I've
what
used a couple of
Paul
times.
just said that.
Well, I'll get the speed sign up there tomorrow.
Oh, I was
That'll happen tomorrow. That'll
falling
happen
asleep
tomorrow.
there.
That'll be, I'll make sure that happens.
Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
We'll probably get it for Monday.
Thank you.
Well, the speed sign's a great idea, great idea.
Yeah.
Both of you. Around the ball, we'll have that up
That
there
was me.
immediately. And then as for looking at, we've obviously
that one.
advertised on TV here today about the school crossing guards.
But we'll
get
put it
moving
up
with
on the
that. We'll get
website
on the
as well.
get going on. Okay?
And then,
No problem?
then you are going to put the flashing lights up, though,
That
right?
was Steve's idea.
Yes, great
His
idea.
idea.
I
like the
know
flashing
personally,
lights.
when I see
slow
those
down.
lights flashing, man, I hit the brakes.
I do
Right.
too.
Those
I
are red
agree.
and blue.
That's,
I agree. I would like to see the
Something-
flashing
Well, thank you for
light.
bringing it up, and again, I'll apologize for myself as the mayor and for council on behalf of council. I didn't know anything about
Yeah,
that light
and
requirement, so.
we didn't know until, we got no notification from the school that our crossing guard's retiring. I mean, we got
I
nothing
think,
but.
I
they're
think
coming
us
from somebody,
advertising
so-
for this position, I mean, people wouldn't know. We go by word of mouth now, if
I didn't know.
happens to be in your area. But if we advertise for the positions, I think it's a win.
If you wanted to address this, sir, you have to sign in and then state your name for the record.
And it's good that you came up to speak, because sometimes, we don't know what's going on. I mean, when my kids were going to University Park, I lived on Beatty Road. And you can imagine, and they wanted them to walk to the end of the road to get to the bus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's no sidewalks. Where do you want them
Right.
to walk in the wintertime?
Right. Well, that's
So-
what my main thing is. When they plow the roads, it covers up that little white line
Even that,
area,
yes.
and then the kids have to walk in the street.
That's
and
what
then
I said to
the
them.
cars back up behind the kids,
Put that
and
out
it's
there.
I'm
just
like,
a
and there's
dangerous
Pat buses
situation.
coming, so I mean, I had to go and make a big deal of it to get
Right.
something done. And so if we don't know, we can't do anything, just like
Well, I
when
think
they
you
didn't know
two
before.
Did your job.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Sir, you wanted to address us.
My name's Justin Davis. I'm Jen's husband. I live on Knoll too, I guess, right? But just as long as there's someone there in the meantime. I mean, the signs are great, just as long as there's someone watching the kids. Because the real problem, and I grew up on Knoll too, so I've been watching this when there was 20 kids. Now there's 10, but there's still 10 kids. And that's the
We're going to have a cop out there.
So that's perfect. That's all. It's the traffic coming in, up the hill, the buses in the narrow. Just as long as there's someone there. I wasn't
We
for
get your
sure on
point.
that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for that, for coming and going, there should be an
Until
officer
there's-
there
yeah.
until.
Yeah,
Awesome.
as of tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Won't
Thank
be
you.
an issue.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for
guys.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it open for any resident who'd like to address council. Seeing none, we'll close that proportion of our meeting, and we'll, before we get started, I do want to have an executive session announcement. Council conducted an executive session for personnel litigation reasons prior to tonight's Citizens Night meeting, beginning at 6:30 PM until about 7:05. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the January 10th, 2017 council meeting. And council, if you'll please take a look at the minutes of the continued budget hearing of November 9th, 2016. the Citizens Night meeting of December 8th, 2016, the council work session of December 8th, 2016, and the regular council meeting of December 13th, 2016. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, we'll go over to our reports on our tax collections. Once again, council, are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Moving over to the payroll report, once again, council, any additions or corrections on our payroll?
No, sir.
Moving over to our list of bills and budget transfers, and Thomas, we'll go to you. Any words of wisdom there?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Steve?
I have nothing.
Paul?
No, sir.
Ron?
Nothing.
Linda?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, I did forget to announce out that Mr. Johns and Dr. Griesach will not be here this evening. I know you see the chairs empty. I just forgot to say that earlier. Okay, moving over to bids and proposals, and if you would, Timothy.
Where is this?
Okay, Mayor, we have for the council meeting this Tuesday, one bid which we opened up on Tuesday morning, Mr. Hugus and Idalia in Garden City Drive Storm Sewer Project, and in your packet is a recommendation from Paul on accepting this bid, and we saved about $102,000 from the bid.
That's it?
Which is great, because we do have the grant money for this, and we're obviously going to have to put in a less amount of money. Inside Pipe was the lone bid. Under bidding law, I mean, you get one lone bid, you can have the right as council to rebid it again if you want to, but Paul and I do not recommend that. We recommend awarding the bid.
Any questions or comments for Paul?
If they think this is a good price, I don't think we should go out to rebid.
Have we used these people before?
Yes, ma'am, as well as the municipal authority.
Okay.
What's
Oh, I
the
need
length
to know.
that they're putting in?
910 feet. It's a combination of 42 and 48-inch pipe.
And the depth is there also, yeah.
Yes, and it's underneath roads, driveways, sidewalks.
So that's everything.
Vegetation. Yeah, we don't have to do any disturbance. It's all lining.
Well, it's all lining.
Yes. And we have a $200,000 grant, so you only have to come up with $12,000.
$12,408.
Nice.
Correct.
Doesn't sound bad.
Good job.
Next, Tim, if you would.
Okay, under motions, I have one motion on the agenda, there's a second one, which we discussed about in executive session. A motion to accept Sean Lally's resignation as Chief Financial Officer for this Tuesday.
Sure.
And also, I am requesting off council to put on the agenda for this Tuesday, a motion to authorize to advertise for zoning officer planner for Monroeville.
And for the chief CFO too, right?
It's already done.
I was already done, okay,
Already did
I couldn't
that.
remember. All right, that's it then. Okay, Bob, if you would.
We have an ordinance authorizing the proper officials of Monroeville to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Monroeville Police Department from January 1, 2015 through December 31, 2018.
Questions or comments, council? Seeing none.
Just as a comment, this has been something that obviously everybody here knows has been, we received the award from the arbitration back in April, and the FOP went through this painstakingly. Our labor attorney, Campbell Durant Beatty, went through it painstakingly. It went back and forth, and they got it to us in November sometime. We didn't have time to advertise it, but it is advertised for this Tuesday's meeting to pass. We've gone through it. Everybody's gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, so it's in council has a copy of it, and it's everything that was the award from the Act 111 arbitration award back in April. So this is a culmination of about close to 3 years' worth of work. Okay?
So through arbitration, we have no option but to accept.
Yes.
It's almost like a housekeeping ordinance.
I was just letting the public know that.
All righty, we'll move over to reports of our municipal staff. And Bob, any words of wisdom this
None,
evening?
Mayor.
Tim, I see you have one issue.
Yeah, I am, as I mentioned last month when the Home Rule Charter Committee submitted their report to council, I will have on the agenda under my report for, probably most of 2017, if there are any comments, discussions from council that they want to ask me, or I thought there would have been some people from the Home Rule Charter Committee here this evening. Oh, John, I'm sorry. Didn't see you there. And if,
Off their game.
And John can answer your questions, or I can, any comments or questions from council on the Home Rule Charter proposal?
I'm not, quite frankly, done with it yet.
Okay.
Tim, I'd like to just mention the fact that we forgot to mention some folks that served on this board. If you could mention the folks that served on this board, all of them again, that would be a benefit.
John Ritter, who's in the audience here, Ed Deal, Dave Cooker, Kathy Savillar,
Dave Palermo,
and Dave Palermo,
Bob Gordon.
and Bob Gordon. That's 6.
How about Dennis Biondo? Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll go over to you, Paul. Any words of wisdom this evening?
No, sir.
All righty. And we'll start off with you, Linda.
Well, Happy New Year to everyone, and congratulations to the Allegheny County New Year's baby that was born right here in our Forbes Regional Hospital, which I thought was kind of cool. So, congratulations to those first-time parents. This Saturday will be the Senior Center's bingo $500 jackpot, guaranteed, 12 o'clock. So maybe a way to get some of your Christmas money back. In talking about the Senior Center, quickly, I'd gotten some numbers today from the director. From 2015 to 2016, their yearly attendance increased by over 7,000 people. The memberships increased by almost 800 more memberships given out to the center in 1 year. And the fitness center itself also added another 225 memberships. So they are doing one heck of a job. The program director, the fitness instructors, Tara Griesok as the director there. It's just amazing how much they've built, and they keep building, and the compliments fly out of there like crazy. So I just want to give them huge kudos to everything that they do, and that's all I have for tonight.
Ron. Thank you, Linda.
Sorry for my dress. I was
Is that a
salting and
dress?
plowing.
You do look bummy tonight, but that's all right.
I hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday. And then the only other thing I have to bring up is I would like to have the municipal manager and Paul Hugus look into the possibility of the municipality changing engineering firms. I understand that our current firm may or may not be having legal and financial issues, and some of the people that we're used to working with are changing firms because of that circumstance. I personally don't know about engineering firms. I would hope that Mr. Hugus is the one that deals with them the most, I guess, along with Tim, and I just wanted to, if we're going to change, I would like to have them look into it and be educated about it, and maybe even fill us in on what our different firms do. And do we have one firm that does it all, or is it?
No, we have three distinct
Traffic,
disciplines: traffic
general,
engineering,
and
municipal, and
floodwater.
geotechnical.
Which, the firm that's maybe having some trouble here, what did they handle?
They do the municipal work.
So I don't know what the rest of council thinks on that's just.
Well, let's have them make a recommendation to look at some candidates and move forward with the candidates.
I think it would be prudent to at least look. We've got to see what our options are.
I
out there.
appreciate the recommendation from Ron, because
Yeah.
I too agree that there has been issues with the firm that we're using today, and we need to move forward.
I just think if we're going to change, that they should maybe make a recommendation to council, along with maybe some reasons and some juice why to do it, you know.
Well, and And if council wants to
I'm
go in
not
that,
necessarily saying RFPs, but I don't know. I'm throwing it out to council. And I talked to Paul about it one time before, and I honestly, obviously, none of us work with the engineering.
Do we have to do an RFP, Tim?
you don't have to. It's a
Right.
professional service. You don't have to do an RFP. I've always recommended doing an RFP in these kind of matters, but you can. There's a handful of engineering firms out there that do most of their work is municipal work, and if that's council's flavor, to give to council a recommendation, 3, 4, 5 firms, and not necessarily going out for RFP, for us to interview, put together a criteria for selecting an engineering firm, give it to council so council can review it, and then move forward if council wants to do it that way, or if council wants to appoint another engineering firm. But one thing I would do first is our current engineering firm, as Ron mentioned, there's been
Running into some difficulty.
well, yeah, my
Losing
understanding is
people.
running some, losing engineers, financial difficulties. I would suggest that Paul and I sit down with that firm and just discuss and find out what the facts are with respect to them, to give them a due diligence as far as just talking with them and do that, so they're aware
Is there a
of
firm out there that can do it all, or do we need 3 separate firms?
There are firms, the larger firms can do all three. It's difficult to find them. A lot of times you'll find municipal and traffic tied together, but to have the geotechnical part of it, which, let's be honest, we don't use geotechnical a whole lot, only when Old Ramsey Road falls off the hill. That's usually when we have to engage into that.
We're
But
going to need more than that if that happens.
So I'm
Well,
not an
I just wonder
engineer,
because
but
it's
purely,
not like we need someone sitting here every single month.
well, no, that's when we don't
Right.
do that. I mean,
Right.
if
So
we
would
change
council be
firms-
okay with Paul and the manager checking into this and coming back with a recommendation?
well, I think you guys should, simply because, from a layman's point of view, we know there's issues with, and from all I know, they've done a great job for us, and they've always done a good job. But it's always better to buy a car when you want one rather than when you need one. There are problems going on with the firm. I don't want us to get into a position where we're like, okay, crap, the worst thing did happen, and now we're scrambling. So it's better now. Let's go look.
Well, our
Let's
backs
see what's
aren't up
out
against
there.
the wall.
Right,
We-
before our backs are against the wall.
We did a similar process in 2013. And we can do it again.
Right. And to your point, yeah, absolutely, you should talk to them, but you don't go to the car dealership to have them tell you what car to buy.
Correct.
Right.
But I thought you already did this. I thought you already had a conversation with them when we were talking about the stormwater management change of there wasn't a conversation last year?
No.
I thought there was talk of having one then. I don't think I was talking to myself, but that could be. You never.
We know that
Tom and I were
happens,
talking.
Anyway, Mayor, that's the end of my report. You didn't hear me.
I'm sorry.
That's the end of my report.
Oh, okay, I'm
We were
sorry.
having a side.
Yeah, I had a sidebar.
Sidebar.
Paul.
Short and sweet. I just wanted to thank the Allegheny Health Network. We went to the prayer breakfast yesterday, day before yesterday, I'm sorry. I mean, it was really nice. An interfaith ministerium was there. A lot of people, it was packed.
About 300 people there.
Yeah, the Gateway Chorus and the Franklin Regional Chorus were there. They sang individual. These kids are great, and it was a great event. Just wanted to say thank you to them for the invite, and with that, I have nothing else.
And add to that, Clint Hurtle,
Clint
the
Hurtle was
manager
there.
for the Pirates, was the main speaker, and I thought he did a phenomenal
He did.
job.
Very inspirational.
Very candid, and inspiring speech that I thought he gave.
I have a comment on that. So we were sitting there, and he looked angry while he was sitting there, and he was kind of writing down some notes, and I'm thinking, wow, what's this guy going to say? I was a little. Then he gets up, and he was just like a ball of energy. He was a great speaker.
Yeah, very good.
Yep,
Anything else, Paul?
that's all I have, sir.
Steve?
Yeah, I just found out that Harold Kotowski's retiring after 34 years as our fire chief, I guess. He's
Number
been there
6,
34
that's
years.
Number 6.
I want to congratulate him and thank him for his years of service. He was a former councilman up here.
That's
So
correct.
He's been through it all. And lastly, we lost the passing of a former employee, Adrian Poindexter, worked for the Public Works for 20-some-odd years. And he passed away on New Year's Day. I just wanted my condolences to his family.
Hang on, Paul, do you want to say something else?
When Steve's done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I apologize, Steve.
I believe I'm completed.
Well, thank you, sir.
Well, he cut you off mid-sentence.
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
trying to-
I didn't know.
That's the way he is.
Terrible.
No, I just wanted to mention that
Thank you, Steve.
we saw in the newspaper that we're losing our Kmart. Not to fear, though. I know it will be filled soon. So just, everybody relax. It's happening nationwide. We'll be fine.
Thomas.
Mayor, thank you. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy, healthy New Year. Congratulations to Harold. I'd like to recognize the fact that the first birth in 2017 was here at Forbes Hospital, and it was Ms. Tenorio and Matt Luke of Monroeville. The little girl's name is Ava Luke. She weighed 5 pounds, 13 ounces, and was 19 inches long. So congratulations, folks, and thank you very much. Go Steelers!
Yeah.
Forgot about them birds.
And obviously, Happy New Year to everybody, and I agree with the Poindexter family condolences. And obviously, Paul did mention about the Kmart issue. I'll just say it briefly because not permitted to go into detail, but Oxford, who does own the property, is going to rehab that entire, and I think everybody's going to be quite pleased when it is finished, and I'll just leave it at that. And to Harold, a dear friend to all of us up here, 34 years is a long time. We thank him for his service. And Harold, I don't know what you're going to do now, bud, but I guess you'll have more fun just doing what you want to do. So with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
Aye, aye.